Welcome to the Broncos podcast with Troy Renck. I am your host, Troy Renck from the Denver Post. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your week. We are on Camel Day, Hump Day. And speaking of that, can the Broncos ever clear the hump that is the Kansas City Chiefs? The Broncos have known more about humps than Wednesday over the last 8-9 years. They cleared several last season, and they are 2-2 against the Chiefs. So how do they get past the Chiefs? And I bring them up because I'm not sure if you heard, if you came out of your bat cave, Chiefs are in the Super Bowl again. No, make it stop. 5 times in the last 6 years for Patrick Mahomes and crew. But I had a chance to sit down with a one-on-one interview with Pat Surtain to discuss, not only his season, him being favorite for Defensive Player of the Year that will be announced next Thursday, but how do the Broncos compete, eventually beat the Chiefs if they're going to get to that next step. He has very, very enlightening answers. I love his confidence, how much he is growing in that regard. He's always had it on the field, but you can sense it as he's matured off the field as a player, more comfortable in his skin and who he is. He's the Broncos' best player. He's been their best player, frankly, maybe since the day he arrived. Certainly you could make that argument. But now you're talking about being one of the best players in the league and the best players in Broncos history if he wins Defensive Player of the Year. So I had a chance to talk to Pat Surtain. What was he saying about the Chiefs, Bo Nix, the upcoming season, and how is this all going to play out? He's encouraged, folks. Broncos country, you should feel really good about his mindset. We're going to get to all of that interview with Pat Surtain after the break. Have you been injured in a car wreck or hurt at work? What are you waiting for? Give my friends at Hoggett Injury Law a call. Their motto, with us, it's personal. It's because it is. Known Darby Hoggett forever. We became good friends. Many of Darby's clients become his good friend. You don't even have to pay Darby up front. If your case goes as planned, Darby will be the one writing checks to you. So again, if you've been injured in a car wreck or hurt at work, give Darby's team a call. That number, 1-833 HOGGATT. That's 1-833-HOGGET, or visit the website at hoggettlaw.com. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds, they got everything from football, the NBA, college hoops, to NHL and UFC. BetOnline is your number one sports betting source for the new year. Every touchdown to three-pointer and hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Welcome back to the Broncos pod. I am your host, Troy Renck from the Denver Post. Again, hope you're having a wonderful weekend. It was spoiled, week is spoiled, obviously, a little bit here in Broncos country with the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl. I will be at the Super Bowl, be reporting from there, do a pod or two from there, from New Orleans. So I'll fly out sometime Monday and hopefully keep you guys informed with some cool stories in the Denver Post, and then on social media, on my Twitter and Facebook. And you'll see, obviously, you'll hear me on the pod there from New Orleans as well. Always look forward to covering the Super Bowl. But when will the Broncos be back? And they used to feel like they were going every year forever. They've won 3. They haven't been back, obviously, since 2015. And what are the keys to going back? What are those keys? So I had a chance to sit down and talk with Pat Surtain, the Broncos all-pro cornerback, about that, about clearing that hurdle of beating the Chiefs, about Bo Nix, about his confidence, and who are some of his players that he watched growing up beyond his dad, who certainly has had an influence in his life, who was just an absolutely excellent corner as well. So who were some of those? So I want to get to all that. And then out of respect for Pat, the interview was sponsored and presented by Tide Evo, these tiles that they're doing only in Colorado. They've done it as a 9-month market here in Colorado. So Tide presented and sponsored Pat Surtain's interviews. I don't know if he did more yesterday, certainly the one with me. So that's something there. Tide, check that out. If you're interested, they certainly definitely have the right scent to them. I'll say that. So especially, and Pat, you'll hear on here, he says, hey, I do my own laundry. And it wasn't until I got into college I did my own. So I believe him. He said, hey, I promise I do my own laundry. But he looks fresh. He looks clean on and off the field. He is the Broncos' best player. What does he have to say about a bunch of issues, including how will the Broncos ever beat the Chiefs? And can they do it with Bo Nix? Here you go, folks. Pat Surtain.
Well, now that you're a few weeks removed from the season, how would you assess kind of the 10-8 winning season, get to the playoffs? Obviously, that ended quicker than you'd hoped, but now you have a little time to look at it. What are your impressions of what you guys were able to accomplish?
We was able to accomplish a lot, given obviously this was like a new team, a younger team, and I think being able to get over this hump and reach this milestone was a big key towards our team, and it builds a lot of confidence moving forward as well too. So I'm very excited because I know this team is going to have a whole new energy, a whole new hunger going in towards next year.
Did you think, because I know after last season you felt like you could improve even though you've had an amazing start to your career. Did you think it could be where you would be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation, if not favorite, in your mind before the season began, if things fell into place for you in this defense?
That was a goal of mine.
Because corners don't typically win it. That's like Stephon Gilmore, I think, the last year that won it.
I mean, I always think big.
Okay.
But obviously this is something that it was expected. I didn't expect it so soon, like in my career. But I think that's given towards the work I put in the season I had. So I think if I get it, I deserve it. So, because I know the work that I put in. I stayed with it through the craft, and I just stayed consistent each and every week. I think that stuck out on film.
Why do you work so well with Vance, and what was it about this year? Was it him moving you around a little more, giving you more opportunity, or just having Riley be so consistent outside of the few weeks he was hurt that allowed you a little more freedom to, whether it's trail with guys, or just it felt like you were in more position to make plays other than just shutting down one side of the field?
He allowed us to be more aggressive, I could say. Like when I talk about Vance, I think his whole scheme sets up well with his personnel.
Okay.
And we was able to run a variation of coverages and zone pressures, simulated pressures, and stuff like that. So, and obviously our pass rush and our front seven were very dominant this year. So obviously that helped our case a lot. But in the back end, it allowed us to be more aggressive towards the pass game. And
more aggressive than last year?
Yeah. I think last year, obviously, it was a new scheme, but I don't think the personnel fit in terms of how we wanted to the last year, but I think this year it fit perfectly and towards what we wanted to do. It's a lot to build on, though. Obviously, I feel like we got more work to do, but it's a great start for sure within this defense.
Everyone talks about here, because we live here. I mean, you're a bit out of time, but the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl again. That's 5 out of the last 6 years. The question you probably get is, how do you guys get past Mahomes and the Chiefs? And you're close. Obviously, you felt like you could have beaten them there, and the last game of the season was a little different. But what is the key? What are your reaction to seeing them back in the big game again?
I mean, you just realize close is not enough. I mean, they're the standard right now. They're the epitome of success, of winning at a high level. I mean, and when you look at their team, I mean, their team is basically the same over the past few years.
Right.
I mean, obviously they add pieces here and there, but their, prominent guys are still there. I mean, obviously Mahomes, Kelsey, those guys. But, their defense has been very key towards their success, and I think it's an underrated part of their team. So I think in order to beat a team like that, we got to formulate success and understand creating winning habits as well too. And I think we got to do that consistently. Not just beat them one time, but beat them year in and year out consistently, because that's that's the table. That's the team that everybody wants to beat now because they established themselves as such, and yeah, we just got to go in here next year and beat them, but also have a good year for sure.
Because you were at Alabama, it was similar. How kind of people viewed Alabama there for about a 10-year. I mean, so do you kind of appreciate what they've done and like everyone shoots at like if you're going to get to where you want to be, like people had to go through Alabama when you were there. Did you feel that when you were there?
Yeah, I mean, you just felt like every team give you their best effort.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And the thing that we did not make that many mistakes. You know what I mean? I feel like winning teams don't make a lot of mistakes throughout the duration of games.
Right.
And you could tell, like, the teams that make the most mistakes end up losing. Like
especially
Washington,
in third downs.
Yeah, like Washington this past game, they had a lot of turnovers. And, you know, especially in, you know, high anticipated games like that with a lot at stake, you can't really have that many turnovers. I mean, it just comes back and bites you. You can't really come back from that at the end of the day. But, you know, teams, good teams, winning teams find a way to win. At the end of the day, no matter if it's a close game or if it's a blowout, you know, they just find ways to win. So,
do you feel like you have a guy with Bo Nix now? Because it's the first time in your career here that kind of there's real certainty at quarterback.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, he got this year under his belt, so and he's won games and he knows how to do it at a high level. So I think that's big for his confidence and you know his success moving forward because not only does he have all the intangibles, but he has the right character, the right mindset to go in and win games in the future and take us to the promised land. So, you know, I'm very confident in him.
It seems like guys, when they talk about him, they really appreciate his competitiveness, like his hate to lose. I mean, I know you kind of brought up that way with your dad. Do you sense that, like you guys have, that he's part of that? You have more and more guys like that, that it's starting to define this team? Yeah,
we definitely building that type of structure around our organization. Just guys that come in with the right mindset, the competitive mindset to go out there and win their one-on-one battles, do what's best for the team to win. You could just sense that around the locker room, that guys are eager to win, especially the guys that's been here for a longer amount of years than me, like Cortland and Garrett. You could tell that their energy has shifted towards winning, you know, over the past couple of years because, you know, they was able to sniff that playoffs and get in, you know, to that playoff run, which is pretty, which is an enlightenment towards the team because, you know, over the past years we were in a drought of making the playoffs, but now, you know, we've reached that point. Now it's just about winning those playoff games because, you know, that's, you know, the team that we played, that's the playoff team, but after that, we're going to see that team the weeks after in the playoffs. So we just got to understand how to win in big-time moments like that. So.
And that's just attention to detail, winning, and then third downs, mistakes. Fourth downs, right? It just gets that filter, right? Just gets smaller and smaller where you just got to play, not perfect, but in the big moments.
The margin of error becomes slim to none.
Right.
And that's what it takes in playoff football. So.
When you grew up, did you have a favorite corner? Other than your dad? Did you, because now you've become that guy where people, like, when they talk about cornerback, it's you, in some degree Sauce, but, I mean, it's really you now. Did you have someone outside of your father that, because you're taller, you're a little longer than most corners, the ones I grew up watching, you know, even Dion, you're taller than him and probably 15, 20 pounds heavier, you know. Did you have corners that you watched growing up?
I had Darrell Revis, Champ Bailey. Let's see. Obviously, I grew up watching, you know, guys like Asante Samuel, Ty Law, who played with my dad as well too. There's a lot of different corners I watched growing up that I had the pleasure of watching.
What did you take most from when you watched your dad play? What do you think he brought to your game?
I just think he was able to press guys at the line of scrimmage a lot, shut them down. He had a lot of swagger to his game as well too. But yeah, he was one of those guys for sure.
We saw you talk a little more. I mean, if you win this award, which by all accounts you're favored, does that change who you are on the field, Pat? Your persona, or no?
No, just be me. Just play my game.
And how are you able not to get into it with guys still? Because now they seem like, receivers, if they get an interference call from you or they get anything, like you said, you get their best shot. How do you not get engaged with that in terms of how they because anyone wants to get a catch on Pat Surtain now, like you're the standard.
I mean, I think that speaks for itself.
Right.
I mean, shoot, ain't no reason to get engaged with anything. I mean, obviously, football is between the lines. I mean, there's going to be some chatter. You're going to talk here and there because it's a competitive field. You know what I mean? I talk my trash here and there, but I think that's what comes with the game. I think you go out there and it's a physical game and you're going to give your best shot. I mean, you're playing football at the highest level and guys going to, talk. Sometimes some guys use that to get an edge on certain guys.
Right,
but,
get in your head.
Yeah, but I don't let that affect me. I think when I play my game, I'm the best doing it. So
when you have a game like specifically Tampa, like Mike Evans at the end of that game, like basically wasn't even running routes. Like he just knew the ball wasn't.
Yeah.
Is that in your we're used to seeing a victory with a corner getting a pick, but when you see a guy kind of realize like they're not even looking at me, how does that feel? Is that like okay, I'm winning this because you just the way he comes off the ball is different. His head's not turning back to the line. That's
not even that. You can just tell throughout the game. They hold demeanor change because I think we just out physical them.
Right.
In all 4 quarters, like we was dominant, and I think we sucked the life out of them for sure. So.
Right. Is that what is it you like about football at this stage of your life? When you do it at this level, what is it you love, or not love, but what is it you love about football, Pat?
Sure. I mean, I played it my whole life. I think seeing other guys succeed as well too.
Really? Okay.
That's what I like. Like when I see guys on my team, reach their potential, and get their honors and get whatever they need, like their contracts and stuff like that. I think I like seeing that, but I grew in love towards loving the game of football, just doing that at a high level consistently. So
Do you at this point, do you appreciate it more than you did? Now that you've been in the pros for a while and you've had to, not you personally, but a team doing this, do you appreciate it more?
I think I appreciate it now because I'm still young, but there's going to be a time where it's going to be like, I'm going to have to hang it up. This like the last part of playing football you could get at. So you got to appreciate it a little bit more, because, I'm going to year 5 already. I mean, I remember just being a rookie, a young rookie. Now I'm going to year 5. So, that's how fast this football thing goes and just happens in a cycle. But, you just appreciate it like that, just knowing that the amount of years you have under your belt and the memories you create in the league, I think that's what you appreciate the most out of it.
I've told people I've never seen a young guy come in that was more polished. And that comes from film study, but where do you do that film study? Are you on your phone watching it, craft? I mean, where does that extra sauce come? Because obviously guys put in time at the facility. Where are you putting all that time in? You have a lab at your house, or you're on your phone, you're just watching? I mean, where does all that extra kind of knowledge come from?
Just playing football, being around great people. Obviously, my dad helps. Being around pedigrees, being around Saban, of course, but I say the most time is being in the league, being around veteran guys like Kareem and Justin.
Really?
Seeing how they watch film, seeing how they approach the game. I think that's pretty cool for me coming in as a young guy. being able to watch them go to work mentally rather than going out there on the field. I think seeing the work that they do, honing in on film study, different tendencies and stuff like that. I think I took some tools and implemented it to my film study as well too, that they use, and I think that helped me a lot along the way.
Interesting. You saw that with Riley then, I think you said?
Mm-hmm.
Is that part of why you think he was able to jump right in and start?
Yeah, I think he was very locked in from day one, creating the right habits and giving him opportunities to succeed in the film room, whether that's us just chatting or him watching film in the DB room and stuff like that. But him being able to see it and apply it, on the field, I think that's a big part of his game.
A couple more. What is it like playing for Coach Payton?
Coach, it's great. I mean, I learned a lot from him with my 2 years in the league with him. I think he knows how to win, obviously, at a high level. But you can just tell from different coaches that, they get it at the end of the day. They understand it, and he has a care for us, that, he puts us in the right positions to succeed. And, that's something that I don't take for granted within coaches because he's very experienced and, he sees the ins and outs of the league, and he's able to transition that to us as well too. So.
And Leonard's been good for you, Coach Leonard?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been great. Another guy with experience who's played in the NFL for some time.
Right.
And it's always great to learn from him, for sure. So.
What do you have planned for the offseason other than you're going to be in New Orleans next week? You went to Paris already? What's Pat's offseason look like?
Man, I got trips,
You got
vacations.
laundry to do.
Yeah.
Laundry. Yeah.
Do you have trips planned? And then you stay in Florida then, is the home base?
Yeah. I go back and forth for real, but
From here to there? Okay. Because Sean had brought up that so many guys are starting to appreciate what the training's done at Denver with Bo. Nobody gets hurt anymore, knock on wood. So he said that he wondered if more guys would stay around here. And not everyone, but he was saying that he thought more guys were going to just stay and train here. Obviously, the weather plays a factor in that. I totally get that. But he said they might. So, yeah, go ahead. So you're representing Tide.
Yeah, he's working with Tide, so this is Evo.
So what do we got?
Revolutionary tile form. And I mean, Pat's got the best style on and off the field, so
100%.
he's got to keep it fresh and clean.
keep the
That's why
clothes
we're with
fresh and
Evo.
clean, everything clean.
Yeah.
Do you do your own laundry?
Yeah, it's
No, you
crazy.
don't.
I promise I do. Yeah.
My college kids didn't till their last years in college. But
Yeah.
my boys one's about your age. He's 26 and my other's 24.
Yeah.
And they didn't start doing their own laundry till junior year of college for my oldest and fifth year at Pepperdine for my
Yeah.
youngest. Finally had to get it. So,
I mean, once you in college, you do everything on your own, so you got to. I think that's where it starts at, for sure.
did they come to you and it made sense because you do laundry and you obviously are a clothes guy?
I know, I'm with Tide, so it's a good partnership. But I'm glad I could branch this product out because it's only selling in Colorado right now.
Welcome back to the pod. I hope that gave you a little insight into Pat Surtain, his confidence, how it's grown. I mean, this guy's got everything in just generous qualities, work ethic, football IQ, just absolute talent. I mean, he just turns and exposes the weaknesses of receivers the moment he guards them. You just put the do not disturb sign on one side of the field. But as he talked about with Vance Joseph, their scheme fits so well with, the Riley Moss developing as a reliable corner on the opposite side and being able to have that front seven with 63 sacks. It allowed Surtain to follow receivers more, to be more aggressive. And, You saw it all. And I believe, I will be shocked if it does not result in Surtain winning Defensive Player of the Year on the NFL Honors on Thursday night, next Thursday. So thank you to Pat Surtain. Thank you to Tide, the Evo detergent, the tiles, for making that interview available. It is much appreciated. Folks, if the Broncos want to get to where they want to go, follow Pat Surtain's lead. You can't stand Patrick? Follow Pat. Confident. I mean, you can have a little less humility when you get to his point and show some of that. Show that edge. And I think as that edge develops in him, the more it develops in this team. You certainly get it from the coaching spot with Sean Payton. Those are things that can only make this team better as they try to get to that next step. Quickly, some housekeeping items. The Broncos have lost multiple coaches over the last several days. John Morton, their passing game coordinator, is now the offensive coordinator to the Detroit Lions. You would recognize him if you were at camp. He was the one that was always yelling very loud in his coaching of Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims, but he helped them in their passing game. He will now be the offensive coordinator at the Lions. And Declan Doyle, the tight ends coach, that honestly I don't know much about. These position coaches we rarely ever spoke to. It's just not the way the media thing works anymore. Declan Doyle, at 28 years old, is the new offensive coordinator for the Bears. He takes over that position and will work in conjunction with Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson will obviously call the plays, but he's the new offensive coordinator there. They're still looking for a special teams coordinator with Kawiki let go. And then on Tuesday, the Broncos let go of their linebackers coach, Greg Minuski. So they're looking for at least 3 spots with the tight ends coach, special teams coordinator, and linebacker position. I don't know if they're going to replace the passing game coordinator. That was unclear. And then also Bo Nix, folks, had a chance to go to the Pro Bowl. He's a 4th alternate. The Pro Bowl is a joke. We all agree. It's just the flag football thing. It isn't that. It's just too many alternates. And at some point, it's like you get to the 5th and 6th. So he was the 4th alternate. He was asked to go because Lamar Jackson was out. Josh Allen is out. Patrick Mahomes is playing in the game. But Bo is having a minor medical procedure, is the way it was described to me. It wouldn't be disclosed what it was, but he's having that on Wednesday, meaning today. And fly to Orlando today and push back his procedure a week. He did not want to do that because of his off season. So, and that's Bo. This guy's diligent. He executes a plan and he executes it. So he declined the Pro Bowl invitation, as did Quinn Miners. Miners did it more out of protest, feeling like he got jobbed. But Bo Nix declines the Pro Bowl invitation. So instead you have Drake May and Russell Wilson. Once Tyler Huntley got in the game a couple years ago, honestly, the entire selection process was compromised. But Bo Nix declines it to have a minor medical procedure. He's one of several guys to get cleanups done after the season to put him on track to get going with his offseason routine starting next week. So hope that catches you up on all of it. Thank you again to Pat Surtain. Thank you to Tide for making that interview possible. My pod would not be possible without sponsors as well. That is certainly Mile High Sports, Big A behind the screen, Nate Lundy. They are the best, and Bet Online. They are fantastic as well. So check them out. Broncos country. I do this pod for you. Happiness that begins with me. Go out there and have a great day.